Hi, hello, welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today, and I'm gonna check in with you about Venus. It seems like it seems like Venus would like a little bit of attention right now. I was trying to check in with a different planet that I work with a little bit more regularly, and Venus said, please, I need some attention. So Venus is not just the Chamba or Oshun. It would also be the Earth version of the mommies. So it tends to be kind of like, if it's not the origin of our soul, it's the part of our DNA that makes us sovereign, makes us royal, makes us chosen, or the divine aspect of our DNA. Because we do also have DNA that's tied to oppressive, wounding archetypes. So I'm testing out a couple new things. I know the light's not very good, but listen to the message anyways. Bear with me a week or two, and we'll be transitioning into bigger, brighter, better. So at the gate, and again, check the show notes if you want the tablet for what I'm using. And I'm going to be using the tablet for about a month. I'll be using this tablet. It is the Dark Sun Tarot, and I pulled this to blow around the 30th of August. I'll be using the keys from Aleister Crowley, Lady Frida Harris Tarot, and the gate is open to the wheel, and it's about Venus going into retrograde. So it starts out here and if you want to learn the technology that I'm using, you need to check the show notes, join the Mystery School. The Mystery School, besides being an oral transmission of sacred teachings, devotional arts, sacred practices, it is also my spiritual program. And the mysteries would be the great mysteries of Isis, the Great Mother. So funnily enough, since we're talking about Venus, this is Venus in Venus in Taurus, which would be Hathor, okay, Oshun, etc. So it starts out in the Hierophant house. So this is like a new baptism, a new rite, a new covenant. And the covenant is what makes you sacred, and Venus is your covenant. It's your lotus, it's your padme. So it talks about your agreement with the higher and what it is you need to do in order to be free, in order to make it out or be liberated from pretty much the reincarnation cycle. Here it would talk about activating the third eye. The guidance is the tower. So it could also be like, you need to be wounded, you need to be knocked around, you need to have a little bit of a few crises, you need to have some type of onslaught or power struggle so that you can get into the energy where you would be reclaiming your power. And it would talk about a breakdown in the communication or a breakdown in the covenant itself. A covenant is the agreement that you have with the higher spirits of the oversoul to be put in a body, which would make you sacred, how it is that you came into the physical and the agreements you have around that. Now, the Tower card has fallen out in the Lover's house. So that would be the soul group, and it's the journey to love. So love is also evil spelled backwards. So spiritual love will illuminate you, it will liberate you, or it will at least track into your life examples, experiences that catalyze the consciousness there. Karmic soulmates, catalytic soulmates, twin flames. This is the journey of these crises in love. So the wounding, the onslaughts in the whole concept and idea of love, people, places, and things, love towards people, places, and things, would have illuminated, elucidated, enumerated some of the breakdowns, dissolutions, upheavals, also pretty much the erosion of your power. So personal power, strength, courage, and wisdom, self-worth and value, that's the covenant we have to have with Venus. When we have those things, when we embody those things, when we invoke those things, we tend to bring our Venus towards the forefront. When Venus liberates itself, we begin to work on Jupiterian aspects. And then when Jupiter liberates itself, we begin to work on Saturnian aspects. And then when Saturn liberates itself, that's when we start to work on Uranian things. And that's the power itself. That's the God or the source energy that we or Venus would be worshiping. That's the light that gets refracted into 7 different colors of the rainbow. Venus being that which done in the dark, that which can sense the light, can manifest from said light. So going on the journey of having these wounding experiences, that's what's enumerating, elucidating, illuminating our power. And the Lover's card now is in reverse and it's fallen out in the Moon house. So that's being in the dark about love, those times when we're laid up, when we have to make sacrifices, surrenders, or when we're just waiting on an answer that never really comes. So those times that we're giving our power away, instead of retaining it, invoking it, those would have been the wounding experiences. And the Moon now has fallen out in the Devil house. So that's dealing with the devil that you know, that's waiting on things that you know otherwise, that's getting yourself into not knowing the secret about your self-worth and value, not knowing the secret about, and the Moon is a secret. The one who knows the secret will be the High Priestess. The Moon card being the full moon, High Priestess being the new moon. And that also talks about incarnation here too. And it's saying like, you keep waiting on some man as a planned story and you don't know you're giving away your personal power, adding in karma that don't need to be there, messing up your covenant, messing up your commitment, messing up your spiritual path, not knowing no better. And so when Venus goes into retrograde, it's going to deal with all those concepts and ideas. And see, the devil's in the Temperance house. So that's a bad seed among others. And it's dissipating. And the guidance is the Hierophant. So it's saying finding spiritual principles, going into anthropology, going into the study of love itself on a macro level, not a micro level, not just from your experiences, not from what all your friends know, but cumulatively, according to the collective. That's going to deliver you from evil, is what I heard, but that's going to deliver your personal power to you, is what I was trying to say. But literally deliver you from evil is what came through. And let's just keep going. Now the Temperance card, because the Temperance house is about what your angelic guidance is, and unfortunately you're taking your advice from the devil. And now the guidance is to take it from the collective, take it from the gurus or the guides of the collective. Gurus more hermit. This is Hierophant. So take it from the creme de la creme of your collective is what the guidance here would be. And not from the devil, clearly, and get rid of karma as well. Don't keep holding on. It's dissipating, which means something is no longer keeping your power where it is, or you're no longer giving it away. You may be looking to give it away, but for some reason it's not there for you to give it to. Or it may be trying to take your power and you're no longer giving it. It's going to be different for different folks. The concept and idea of the devil is once one person leaves, the other, it frees both of them. Now, one person may be trying to stay, but again, there's no longer this disproportionate, non-mutual, non-beneficial needs exchange. If it's non-nourishing, it's not, if it's not elevating you, why do it, right? Now, the Temperance card is falling out in this Emperor house. So the Emperor house is what you are in control over, how it is that you're building your systems, your foundations, your structures. Again, you would be the one trying to hold on because the guidance here is the devil. So that's toxicity around a leadership. You're building foundations based out of karma, things that are impermanent, things that are really not going to go very far at all, because you might wake up a bigger, brighter, better person tomorrow and that'll completely die down. And so the Emperor tends to, the Hierophant can't make an institution of a foundation unless the foundation was built to last for a while, okay? Because the Hierophant is long-term, things that stay for generations, and the Emperor gets turned into the Hierophant eventually. So the Emperor builds those foundations, builds those structures, leverages the systems that are found out and agreed upon between the High Priestess and the Magician. The Magician calls in and gets things ready. The High Priestess coordinates and sits in the cycle. The Empress bursts and motivates into, or the people that are willing to get to the cycle, so that could be the collaboration of. And then the Emperor would be the one who builds and manages and governs the foundation being built. And then after a couple years there, the Hierophant would go ahead and institutionalize that foundation. And see here, it's saying that you're completely out of alignment with how you think that would go. Again, we have the devil in the Temperance house, now we have the Temperance with the devil. So that means the backseat among others, taking the wrong ideas, taking advice from the wrong places, getting the wrong ideas about things that you see people doing over there. So like you'll be looking onwards and not really having jealousy, but you try to go and replicate it in your life and you're replicating it for the wrong reasons, or you're pulling from the wrong sources to build. So you can have the wrong resources to build the wrong foundations. You could have the wrong ideas, you know, concept and idea, it goes on and on and on and on and on, and compounds. And the Emperor is upright in the Hermit house. So you need, because another thing about the Temperance card in the Emperor house could talk about you're not a humble leader, you're not a wise leader, and you're not, and leading could be governing. You could be leading yourself. It could be your higher self leading your lower self. So it's saying that you need to do some soul searching, and that's what's going to complete this whole thing. Bigger, brighter, better knowledge of the self, stronger constitution of the self, self-mastery, self-governance, and go on the journey to learn it because you don't know it yet, would be, because we're in the Hermit house right now, so I'll keep reading here in the Hermit house. And that'll bring this whole thing to completion. And it's going to happen. It could happen anywhere in the next 3 months to 3 years, hopefully not 3 lifetimes. Because the world card can talk about any 2, 3, 7, and 9 is a timing indicator. And so this is number 21. It can talk about multiple lifetimes. But it seems like you can get it in this lifetime, but you've been trying to get it for the last 3 lifetimes. And see, this would be for the first time on earth that you would have found your inner constitution that you can thrive on a spiritual level. So for some reason you come and you get into energies and you get into somebody else's plans and you don't evoke your own. And even if you are in somebody else's plans, like for instance, you're working somebody else's job, you should have your own financial plan. So if they can't give you what your monetary needs are, you can go manifest it somewhere else instead of being like, oh, can you please help me? Or am I gonna, you know, somebody else shouldn't tell you what you're worth, where you can live, where your children can go to school, how well you're gonna sleep at night, what kind of neighborhood you live in. You set your own metrics for you and yourself and have a bigger, brighter, better belief that allows you to, you know, attract those things into your life, even if it's a long way down the road, and then look into the current environment and the people that you're doing a needs exchange with, employer, living situation, whether it's roommates, flatmates, a lover, marriage relationships, business partnerships. You should be able to negotiate what your needs are, but you need to figure out what your needs are on your own. For some reason, it's like we're looking out there trying to get our needs from another person because we don't even know what our needs are. You hear what I'm saying? So now let's go to this Hermit. It says for the last 9 lifetimes, Hermit on top of Hermit in the Star house. We have not been of service. We have not worked towards the bigger, brighter, better good. So our faith, hope, and optimism has been out of alignment. We put our trust, our hope, our faith, our optimism in somebody else's hands. And we haven't cultivated a bigger, brighter, better future because we've never been able to really, truly, genuinely find the light. Or if we found the light, we weren't able to use it to practice discernment. And the thing that we're searching for is a light in us, and we need to give it to ourselves. We need to give ourselves our own advice. Unless we've been giving ourselves our own advice, then we need to find wise counsel. So really, there's a lot of discernment there. Is the problem with you? And if it is with you, can you give yourself the answer, or does it exist outside of you? But you need to also question with this in reverse if you know how to select the right type of guru, the right type of guidance, the right type of, you know, mentor. So in the Star house, we should go and find the Star card now. It's falling out in the Judgment. So the Judgment house is the aha moment. That's the leveraging the consciousness of the soul. That's literally decisions you make that go beyond this lifetime. And it's positive. So it means your deepest needs finally coming to the surface is what it's talking about. And you will learn how to move forward on these needs. So into the future in a successful way. I do want to say you're working on that right now. It's delayed, and also because you're looking for this soul searching is, you need to do that inside yourself and understand that you are the problem, not nobody else, because somebody else is the problem for whatever reason. So you've been looking for the solution, you ain't found it because it's you. You've been giving your power away. You've had low ass vibrational thoughts, and you know it. Okay, so when the results appear, you don't understand it was your belief system that created it. And if you can't see your thinking, all messed up, foobar, effed up beyond repair. So the Judgment card now has fallen out in the Wheel of Fortune house with the guidance of the Strength. So it's saying the strong destiny, strong turn of events, according to you making decisions on a soul level. Until you tickle that soul, you ain't gonna do no nothing. So your lower self human existence, wanting, thriving, yearning, hurting for some loving that's been gone past 3 years from now or whatever, 3 years ago, trying to recapture 5 seconds of bliss from 5 lifetimes ago, 5 assholes ago, 5 douchebags ago, ain't gonna do no nothing. When you find the strength, courage, and wisdom to pick it on up and move it on forward, things are gonna start to get moving again. In the Wheel of Fortune house, it literally is your destiny, that's divine timing and all that fun stuff. Okay, and see, that's what this whole journey is about. So I'll give this a little bit more guidance. What I'm discerning here is that we're not seeing clearly what the cycle is because we're unwilling to practice the strength, courage, and wisdom to call it is what it is. And see, what that means is that we lack the sufficient, we need to practice a little bit more strength, courage, and wisdom to move on forward. And when we do that, we'll be able to manifest what it is that we want, which is this Venus energy. And we need to use our love, our beauty, our creativity to nurture in foundation structures and systems into our life, autonomy, conscious control over ourselves, self-governance, self-mastery, because right now we're needing to detox this toxicity, detox the toxicity, detox in reverse. So this is create, alchemize, this is dissolve, detox, and then toxicity, devil. So detox toxicity around our foundations, and for whatever reason, we don't understand that the mystery is us. The mystery is us, and we're living in the devil house. Wherever this black card shows up, we're living in the devil house. So the devil house has the guidance of strength of self-worth and value. So we could also have, because the Empress in the devil house could mean being punished for your beauty, could mean a dangerous beauty. It oftentimes can mean in vitro fertilization. So it doesn't always mean that you're going to IVF treatments. It could mean that you've been conditioned and programmed so much that now you're like a host for demons. You're like this vessel, you're like this flower that only attracts demons. Does that make sense? And you keep getting impregnated with other people's shit, other people's demon babies, other people's horrible belief systems, horrible little egregores, thought creations, thought forms that take on a soulless life of their own. Okay, and it is all in darkness and can all be in shadow with that moon card upright, but rather it's being in reverse. And the sun's in reverse too, so you clearly don't see it. It's hiding behind the surface. And that's all according to your belief, because that's what the guidance of the magician. I don't know what to say about that. So I'm gonna take a pause and give you the dates of the Venus retrograde and give you a little guidance around that. Okay, so as I have it here, we just entered the shadow period on the 2nd, okay? And see, what happened was it went over the area of our one-on-one partnerships. That could be friendships, it could be partnerships. It really talks about what our needs are, how they are mutual, beneficial, and which ways we're willing to negotiate and barter and compromise to meet these needs. Now, you know, when Venus goes retrograde, everybody talks about money showing up and people paying off old debts, and also old relationships come about. And if new relationships come about, it's always like your shadow incarnate coming towards you. That all is true. Now, if you're born in a Venus retrograde or you have a very, very strong Venus, Venus is actually going to embody you. It's going to come through your life. It's going to come in through your beliefs as well. And if you are a person born during a Venus retrograde, it literally means Venus will be coming out of your aura when Venus goes retrograde. Now, Venus stations retrograde actually on the 5th of October. So for the whole next about 6 weeks, I would tell you that it would be wise to be mindful of your self-worth and value. Be mindful of, and it's not just self-worth and value, it's value and things. So your investment decisions, your purchasing decisions, how it is, what it is you look at in terms of quality, how it is, what it is that you look at in terms of discernment, value, judgment, not moral judgment. You're not the boss or the judge of other people, but other people's behavior is indicative of future behaviors. And if that behavior doesn't work for you, because it might not help you arrive at your outcome, then you could say in your value judgment that that behavior doesn't work for you. If you're saying like, oh, well, they're this kind of person, or they're ugly, or they're a liar, or whatever, you can just say, I haven't seen them be aesthetically pleasing. I haven't seen them be truthful and honest all the time. That doesn't work for me right now. I'm not going to mix my energy in that. You hear what I'm saying? So Venus will go direct in November. So this cycle is going to go on from yesterday, the 2nd, all the way to about the 17th, the 5th through the 16th, 5th of October through the 16th of November, being the nitty gritty breakdown moments. Okay, now Venus is blissful, so we may be jumping up and down and skipping into our own demise if an old lover shows up, or a new lover for that matter, and we lack discernment, we lack self-worth and value, we lack proper judgment because we have toxic beliefs and we're not detoxifying the toxicity from our life. You hear what I'm saying? So let's check a few more things. I'm just going to come back to video here. Okay, so let's check this. I'm going to go through the houses here. So the gateway of this is strength, courage, and wisdom come out of faith, hope, and optimism. So if you've been conditioned, programmed some kind of way where you can't even believe in a bigger, brighter, better future, that's the first place to go for medicine. And I'm really good at helping you believe in a bigger, brighter, better future. It's just work that I've had to do myself personally. Pretty dire circumstances. There's been many times where I've been around and experienced in my own right, clawing your way out of the gutter with bloody fingernails. And this is a message from the sky gods that yes. Now the thing about the sky gods is they do things in the light, not in the darkness. So we have the Page and the Two of Cups. So this is Venus in Cancer, which is Oshun, by the way. Oshun is Cancer energy. Yemaya is Scorpio energy. So like the Seven of Cups would be Yemaya, and the Two of Cups would be Oshun. So Venus. So ooh. Well, see, I think Venus is trying to get our attention, especially if you have your Venus in Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. So this is the Page of Swords is Venus in an air sign, or a person that is a fire rising, which means your descendant, which is typically where Venus is, the partnership house, the cusp of the 7th house, descendant would be air. So I want to see what the toxicity in our foundation is. It seems like there's lies and deception. This could be self-directed. We could be going on the journey of getting lied to. Because it's the Seven of Wands, and then we have the Seven of Cups here. So there should be open conflict, usually around love. Now, if you're not in love, you will have luck. But in love, there's a conflict here, and it would be stemming from the inside of the relationship. So you two on a soul level will be fighting each other with the cups and the wands. And this is if there's a lover situation. They could come back, so you could know them, but they could be, it seems like, because the cups and the pentacles, even if this is not clear here. So when it is clear, I would go in the direction of the card, but when it isn't clear, to me, it moves from right to left, unless it's the queen. And this is specific to the cups and the pentacles. It's the opposite for the wands and the swords. So here he is looking at the future. Excuse me. And so money's coming. My hand is itchy. So it's almost like you're waiting on somebody to come back, and that's illogical. They're not liking that. not this person, but the spirit. That's a no-no. That's a no. So that's the toxicity. Hoping, wishing, waiting for people to come back. They don't need to be up in your life, and you know better. And so that's duly confirmed. The goddess gave you up. Talk to the hand. Say no. Yeah. They're saying you've already won. You've already respected yourself, and they feel like they won because they know you'll always take them back. But see, when you add your love into their love, it becomes a war. When you add your 3 of Wands to their 6 of Wands, it becomes the 9 of Wands. And it's like you have to have your defenses up. You can't trust everything that's going on. And see, they come towards you to take from you. You're like the queen of the earth. You have all these resources, their needs that can get met in the physical. See, but when you're nurturing the physical like that and a person's unaware of the spiritual, what you're doing is nurturing the demon. I don't want to say when you nurture them physically, when you give them food, when you give them love, when you give them sex, when you give them back rubs and all that stuff, things they need in the physical dimension, that is evil in nature. But when there's a lack of spirituality, you're giving towards something that's not sustainable, demonic. And see, this overall collective energy is the 9 of Cups. So that is, to me, your Brahmanhood. And see, you need to know your divinity first before you share it with another person. So let's check this Judgment card. Okay. So it's about some kind of mastery. Let's see what it is. Yeah. So the universe has been waiting for you to see. They'll give you exactly what you want when you practice being secure in yourself. 9 of Wands, because where you are right now is the 9 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles. No, 9 of Pentacles. Okay, but when you have the 5 of Pentacles here, it means like you have a little something and you're trying to make it different than what you want. And see, the universe is giving you exactly what you want. And if you do want more, you have to ask the universe for it. You can't go and try to manifest it yourself because your belief is going to create less. You've been given exactly what you can use to get better, and until you can show you can do better with it. Because 9 plus 5 equals 14, which means it's an exchange with you in heaven. The knights go up and down the spine, go up and down through the dimensions. They're the ones that do the dimensional travel. There's a difference between projecting, which is just imagining in your mind, and traveling, which is actually creating a physical representation of something. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to repeat one thing and then I'm going to repeat the quick story and then I'm going to leave it there. So at the gate was Venus. And the message was strength, courage, and wisdom. We're out of alignment. And in order to come into alignment, we need to let things die that have already died. Let go or be dragged. Something's already over and you're trying to win it back. That ain't going to happen. All up through your Venus retrograde, right about now, you're going to continue to be remembering over the next 6 weeks this ex-person has already left. So if you ain't working on spiritual principles, what you're doing is making sure that they step right into your life during the retrograde. And the retrograde is around the 5th of October. So between September 2nd and the 5th of October, don't think about them. Every time you think about them, reframe. You know, X, delete, backspace, no. They came into my life. They had a purpose. Thank them for serving their purpose. They've been released. We've been repelled from each other. Let me go and manifest something new. What did I learn from this person? And let me create bigger, brighter, or better in a new person, place, or thing. And if they come back, they're going to be bigger, brighter, and better. Meaning they ain't going to be bringing the same drama, ain't going to be bringing the same karma that they've been busting around before. Okay? And in doing that, learning that spiritual principles, that'll be the beginning of this new journey, because up until then, it's going to be, if we're not learning from our mistakes, we're making mistakes. Okay, and that sounds like an oxymoron, but meaning if we don't learn from the past will repeat itself. And that's duly noted here, because we'll be stuck in our little love situation. See, if it was a knight, I'd say you're stuck, you're halted, but here you're at an impasse with the major. By the way, in case you don't know, the chariot rules all the knights. And yeah, that is the message. That is the message. That's what it is. Go on the journey of spiritual principles, which is self-worth and value, strength, courage, and wisdom, or other things will be happening. So it's an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. If you're interested in the mystical, check the show notes. you want to learn the technique that I was using, check the show notes. The Mystery School will teach you that. I also was using the Grand Tableau for, I'm going to keep it until September 9th, the new moon. So that was the Dark Sun Tarot. I pulled this one around the 30th of October, maybe a day later, maybe a day before. So check it, Dark Sun Tarot, okay? Maybe, I don't know the name of it, but that link will be in the show notes. It'll say tablets. It'll say tableau tablets or something around that nature, either tableau or tablets. It'll be a key symbol right in front of it. And for consultation and assessment, I'm not available to the public right now because I'm going through a lot of changes and a lot of spiritual work. I do have a certain group of people that have access to me, and that right now is my students, my spiritual children, and my clients. So unless you're in a coaching program, a spiritual coaching program, or some type of initiation program, so you can join that. I do have an opening. The link is in the show notes. It's the Mystery School. That's my spiritual program. You can go through anything. So as long as you're not asking about really petty stuff that doesn't require daily spiritual practice or some type of deep, hard soul work, I'm available. Okay, so peace be with you. Love, light, harmony, unity, respect, and resplendent grace. Until we meet again, until we read again, namaste, dandavat, and I say, take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.